Hi, welcome to Sanctus Library. We are going to see all the updates in versions 2.6 and 2.7. A new container generator. We can just add the asset and it's ready for use. If you select the asset, you will have the options here, the parameters. In this case, we can change the liquid color, for example, the amount, and many other parameters that you can explore later. If you go to the shading tab, and you can change the amount to make it more dense or less dense. Since the curves cannot be exposed as a control, you have to go to geometry nodes. And you will see that I left this outside the groups, so it's easier to find. And you can change the shape of the bottle here. Along with the parameters that you already have in the panel. You can make this 4 sides, for example. If you want to make 2 copies of it, you Shift D and you have a second one. The only problem is, since this is not exposed, the changes we do here will affect both the color and that you can change it separately. But this is shared, so the way you can do it is to set a single user here, and then you can change the shape independently. Okay, next we have effects. We have 3 new effects here. You can select an object and apply the effect to the object. You can still edit the object. You can change the shape, it will adapt. Okay, next up we have the clouds. You can select any object, apply the object here, and you get some stylized clouds. You can then change a bit the parameters. You can scale it on one axis and change the noise. This one is similar to the bricks, but it's with voxels or cubes. And both have an animation there. If you animate this, they will fly and form the object. We have another asset in furniture. This is a bookshelf. And you can change the number of shelves, books per row. There's also an order parameter. Cable and surface 2. We add the asset. Selecting the asset, we go to the parameters. There are a few things that you cannot have in this panel here. So, for example, to select the target, everything that is not a parameter that you can change will have to be changed here. Okay, in this case, we have to select the target object. That way the endpoints will align to the surface. And then we go to edit mode. We can delete the vertices there. And we select the drop in surface, and we can start drawing the cables. And we also have another one with a different shape. We'll add the asset, do the same, target, edit mode. I can draw this one now. We also have a new spiral cord. Same. We can remove the vertices and draw the cable. There's an option when you have sharp angles like this. You can select auto handles here, and it will round them up. We also have lighting. This is experimental and it only works in cycles for now. And I will apply this lighting here. Then you can control the different lights. In this case, we have 3. So they are the first 3 lights here. And you can change the strength, the distance of each one independently. You can rotate them vertically and everything. And also you can make them visible or invisible in viewport and render. In this case, it's easier to see where they are if you leave it like this, but you can also hide them. Okay, let's see some of the materials now. We have sand. We have also parallax panels that make it look like there's real geometry down there, but there's nothing. This is also animated. You have a control for the fans, animate. You have the panel type and a lot of options to change them. Let's see some of the presets. This one uses a texture that you can change to have different lights. In this case, we also have a control for the parallax intensity. We also have this sidewalk with some presets also. Plank of wood, apply material. If you duplicate them, they will always have a different center point and different shape. We have a few different variations. Here we have a new marble, Carrara marble, CRT monitor. And as you can see, it's made like the old CRT monitors. You also have a flickering active animation. You can open this group and change the image here. There's also another effect that was a bit hidden before. Photo to like bill paper texture. It works the same way. You can add the image inside this group. We have some new smart metals that have no paint. We also have a rust control. You can activate the rust here. We also have a cork, and you can change a bit the hue saturation value, subsurface, texture scale. It has a bevel included. We also have some pottery materials. You can change here from vertical. They are twisted also. You can see stripes twist. And for example, we can change this to horizontal. In this case, the twist won't work. It's just for the vertical. And the frequency, how thin they are at the middle and the borders. There's also the cover to cover parts of the top and bottom, for example, here. And again, the presets. We have this one here, this one, where we use something more like clay there, and this one here. Marked plastic is basically plastic that have, for example, accumulates dust. The borders are a bit worn. We have also different presets. We also have polyethylene. Also have different details in the surface. This is a work in progress that I'm doing for the next update. We also have some fabrics with displacement. I think that's everything about the assets. Now we are going to see the changes in the add-on itself. We go to Edit Preferences, and in the add-on, we can see we have to select default baking format. We also have a way to export and import preferences. This is how it used to be. And this is how it looks now. You have everything organized in drop-down menus. You have the control for the stones. You have the control for the stone shape. 2 new icons here. If you want to participate in Discord, we have a pretty big community with over 1,000 users. You have the button for the documentation and Patreon in case you want to support me there. One of the main improvements here is that you can add favorites. And for example, if you use, I don't know, a lot this material, you can add it here. You will see a little star, and it will not only bring it to the top of the category, but also it will be added to a new category called My Favorites, where you will have all the favorite materials. Let's try another one. Let's say I like this one, and also one from the stones here, marble. And now I want to find them. I go to my favorites and I have them all there. Also a new button here to go directly to the documentation of the specific asset. I have to work on the documentation of the materials. That's why this material doesn't have the link yet. But for example, FX, you go directly to the documentation of this specific asset. And the same goes for this one. And this one also. So you can, if you have doubts of how to use it or what you can do with it, you can use that button there. In materials, we have filters now. If you are doing a project in Eevee, you can click Eevee and you will only see materials that work with Eevee. Also, you can, for example, if you want to switch between them, you just click. And if you want to add them both, you shift click and you can add more than one. If your filters have no results, you will see this. There's also the complexity. If you're looking only for low complexity, that means faster materials, you go to low. If you don't like displacement, for example, you can deactivate this. And now the materials that have displacement won't be listed. Decal Baking. To make this easier, we will add just a plane, and I will add this decal here, and maybe this one here. Okay, now I will go to Shading tab. I have to have some material on the main object. End panel, we have Sanctus here. I will minimize this part, and we have Sanctus Baking. Okay, we can bake sockets for materials or decals. We will change to decals. I want to bake the decals that are placed on this object, so I select that object. Let's change a bit the decals first and show something new also. And Sanctus. And here we have, this is new also, we have the parameters for the decals inside the panel before we have to go here. Let's add some damage. And for this one, we will add emission. And I will set it to 5. And I will replace the color. Okay. Now we select the object and click the maps that I want. In this case, emission is HDRIs. That means that the baking will go outside the range of 0 to 1. That way we can have the amount of, for example, my decal had 5 emission value. The only thing you have to do is save this in something that supports HDRI, like OpenEXR. I will set the resolution here. I will use 2K and bake. It will take a moment, and once it's done, you will see the result here. These are all the baked textures, we can check them. If you click the icon here, you can see the result for each map. And we have the option to even add one by one, or add them all with this button here. And for example, let's say this is a material. We can, for example, create another one. Mix shader. We will use the alpha to mix them. And now I can use another principle and plug everything here. We have our color, metallic. We have decal roughness, and we have the emission. And we will plug this here. And now, if I hide the decals, the real decals, you will see that we still have the everything on the same material. And it's baked now. Remember, this is not saved yet. You can use it because it's a temporary file in Blender, but if you want to use it in the future, you have to save all the files. Also, you have a batch save now. You can press this button here. Here are some variables that you can use. So it will use, for example, the result name. And here you will have the preview of the naming of the file. And you can use, for example, material, index name, for example. So you will have name of the material and that, or you can also add, for example, symbol there, whatever you like, and you will select the format and you will save all at once. Okay, now we will see how to bake materials, procedural materials from the library. I used the Smart Metal, End Panel, Sanctus Baking. We will leave it at sockets. That's to bake the sockets here. And we will start by selecting the node I want to bake socket from. Right click, and you will see an option here. Set Sanctus Bake Sockets. I will select the ones I want to bake. Okay. Here I can select the resolution. I will do this simple to save time. I will leave the normal bake to bake with more samples. So I bake this, hide. We have to be in cycles, of course. Bake. And now I will add the normal only. Okay. And I will bake. Okay, now we have our results here. We have the color, metallic, roughness, and the normal. We will add them to the scene. Again, you can save them and use them from the local file. I will not do that to save time here. We will see the difference. I will add a principal shader here. And I will use this. We have color, metallic, roughness, and this goes to a normal map, color. Okay, and now this is the procedural version, and this is the baked version. As you can see, there's basically no difference. And one of the new changes here is that you can now, this was attached to the material where you baked, and it was hard to create a new material without saving and importing everything again. So for example, leave this as a Smart Metal procedural. I will duplicate this, and I will use on this one a new material. And for example, if we have this button turned off, it will only show the bakes done inside this material. But if we click here, we can see all the bakes in every single material. So we can now bring this texture here. Color, metallic roughness, normal map, color, clear, and there we have. Okay, that's pretty much it. There's a lot of fixes too, but I'm not going to go through every single thing. Thanks for watching and see you in the next update.